your favorite movies and TV shows. And tonight we are talking The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 2. In case you didn't notice, Krista and I are in the same room. What?
Yeah, Sibz on the East Coast.
Yes, I'm home visiting home, and we thought we'd cover this episode together. So the first thing we want to talk about is this kind of relationship between Sam and Bucky that they really highlighted in this week's episode.
Whoa, hold on. Before we get into that, you guys got to hit the subscribe button and click the bell as we cover all your favorite movies and TV shows. But yeah, so it was a super weird bromance going on. They had a therapy session, which was a little too close for comfort. But yeah, I don't know. For me, it's not clicking. The kind of relationship, the chemistry that they have, it's not clicking for me yet.
Yeah, I think it's really weird. Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan have great chemistry in real life, but we have only ever seen them really interact in Civil War, and even then they were just kind of giving each other the stank eye. So to see them together in this, there's not much. Yeah, they just don't have as much chemistry, or at least it's not as entertaining as their chemistry is behind the scenes.
Yeah, for sure. So now this episode deals with the introduction of John Walker, aka the new Captain America. He is paraded out in front of everyone at the end of the last episode. And in this episode, we get our first kind of look at him and his background, his love interest, his friend, by the name
Battlestar, I think is Lamar.
Yeah, Lamar. And he ends up being Bucky. He takes on that role as the new Bucky in as the sidekick of Captain America. So that was interesting. I like his character, Sam. It was like Lamar Watkins or something like that. Something like that. But yeah, so we see the new John Walker, Captain America, just kind of struggling fitting into the role. He obviously has big shoes to fill, and he doesn't want to do anything to upset anyone. He knows that this is going to kind of upset Bucky and Sam, and this is what happens when they encounter the Flag Smashers and Carly Morgenthau, the leader.
Yeah, there's a kind of obvious tension between the new Cap and Sam and Bucky. And I totally understand Bucky's point of view of being annoyed with Sam for not taking up that shield and taking up kind of the gift that Steve gave him of being Captain America. And they talk about that more in their really awkward therapy session where Bucky talks about, if Steve was wrong about you being Captain, that means he's wrong about me. And obviously that drudges up a lot of emotional stuff for Bucky. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like the new Cap. He's really sketchy, and I know a little bit about him in the comic books. He eventually becomes a bad guy.
Yeah, well, it's not that he's just more sick. So basically, he will do whatever the government tells him to do or whatever mission they put him on, as where obviously Steve Rogers had a conscience and kind of a heart and stuff like that. Now they are building up John Walker's character to seem like he has a bit of a heart, a bit of a conscience. He has a love interest, a best friend. He cares about, doing the Captain America role justice. But that's obviously going to get degraded toward the end of the series, where he really does. He's about the mission no matter what it takes, or we'll probably see him kill someone at some point in cold blood. Exactly. So but I do want to talk about Carly Morgenthau. Now, getting into her character, she was supposed to be Flag Smasher. In the comics, Flag Smasher is one character, but in this series they're making it a group, and so basically they're about a one world order, and so they're kind of pushing their agenda in that regard. But someone is texting her on her phone, and there was a scene where she's showing her phone, and somebody had texted her, "You took something that was mine. I'm going to find you and I'm going to kill you."
Yeah, and I'm wondering if that thing that she took was the super soldier serum, because obviously she's running around with other super soldiers. It's still kind of unclear what the Flag Smashers want. We know that they want a one world order, but we don't know how they're going about that.
So what they do is they destroy world governments. So
they cause, what are they stealing?
They destabilize.
Like when Bucky and Sam caught them, they were stealing stuff. It seems like they're working towards a bigger thing. It's just unclear as to what that is.
Yeah. So what they're doing generally is creating chaos and destabilizing government. So whether that's stealing trade secrets and doing all that kind of stuff, that's kind of at the face value. But at the same time, they may be working for, obviously Carly has an alternate agenda, an
Yeah.
alternative motive there, and so we just haven't seen what that is. But we will find out eventually. So another thing that happens in this episode is we're introduced to the character of Isaiah Bradley, and Isaiah Bradley was kind of the first Captain America, African American um, super soldier, and he was never really addressed in the MCU, and it was kind of disappointing to see that by the time we see him here he's already an old man like Steve Rogers. It would have been nice to see kind of him in action, but obviously he was active during the same time Steve and Bucky were young men, and he wasn't put on ice, so he never got that opportunity to really shine in the MCU. But I think he did a fantastic job as far as the acting and kind of talking about his struggle.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing if they see him again, if we learn more about his story, because it seems like a pretty sad way that he ended up. He's like living in this tiny house with who I assume is his grandson.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would love to hear more about his story in the MCU. So we'll see if they actually go back to that.
Yeah, I highly doubt it, honestly. I
Really?
think they just wanted to pay it a little fan service, but I don't think we'll see him again, honestly. So from there they end up going to their group therapy session, and at the end of the episode they end up needing some intel, and they go to get that from Baron Zemo. We got a comment there. Zara Salim, sorry if I butchered the thing, but hello, welcome to the show. We're just breaking down the newest episode 2, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and just everything that happened. So feel free to chat it up with us or ask any questions. But just, I think overall, this was a good direction for the show, kind of continuing with the world building, introducing some characters, Baron Zemo.
Yeah.
We got more about Carly. We got Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah.
We learned a little bit more about John Walker and kind of how he's going to take on the Captain America role.
Yeah, I agree. We got a lot in this episode, which makes sense because there are only 4 episodes left. So they really got to lay it on thick so that we're ready by the end of this to hopefully see Sam as Captain America.
Yeah.
So I think I think we're in a good spot right now.
Yeah. Now, what I want to do, I want to stop it here because I want to stop the video here because I want to talk about the super serum, the super soldier serum, or whatever variant of the super soldier serum the Flag Smashers are in possession of, or what they're getting. So basically, this is all supposed to break into a larger Marvel plot line with Thunderbolt Ross, the Abomination, Red Hulk, etc. All of these characters. Oh, she didn't see it. So definitely go check it out. And careful for spoilers because it's on Disney Plus right now. So that's obviously up, and we're doing an entire series on it. So as well as a whole bunch of other TV shows and movies. But this basically breaks into a much bigger plot line dealing with the Red Hulk and Abomination and all that stuff. And it's all using variations of the super soldier serum. And obviously that leads into other certain Fox characters. As we know, Wolverine, Weapon X, and Deadpool were both coming from the basically Canadian version of the super soldier serum. And there might be some of that ties into the Black Widow movie, as some of those characters they may be enhanced or whatever by the super soldier serum. So there's a lot of potential here for what this serum is going to do and how they're really going to break it into the Marvel universe as a whole.
Yeah, I agree. I think this it's so funny, like thinking about this in comparison to WandaVision. You really can't compare the two. They're such different shows, but I think both of them really will lend a lot of information to the next upcoming Marvel movies, especially for people who like haven't read the comic books, aren't familiar with a lot of characters. Like, we really are getting a good amount of information before we go into the big league. So I'm really excited about that. And I think Marvel's just so great at like retelling superhero stories in an interesting and intriguing way.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now I will say one thing, obviously, as Marvel fans and DC fans, after seeing Snyder Cut, one thing that rubbed me a weird way, and I had heard it from some people who were reviewing the Snyder Cut. They said a glaring difference between the Snyderverse and like Snyder Cut darker DC stuff and Marvel is that the Marvel movies seem almost fourth wall aware, acutely aware that this is a superhero show and it's like not necessarily real. So they make certain jokes and certain comedy is used, where in DC they take everything ultra seriously And like even some of the jokes that we got in the Justice League with the Whedon cut, they weren't there at all in the Snyder cut. And so, it's a nice contrast. I like the different flavors after seeing Snyder cut, then going to Falcon and Winter Soldier and seeing something a little bit more lighthearted, some more jokes, as where with Snyder cut, it was blood and guts and seriousness.
Yeah, and I would say too, it's not like X-Men is Marvel's dark comic books. That's where you don't really get many jokes. So it is nice to see a lighter side of superheroes from Marvel.
Yeah, for sure. But ultimately, guys, I don't know. I'm not feeling the chemistry between Bucky and Sam yet. So hopefully that's something that they can develop. But that's pretty much all we had for this episode. So let us know what you think down in the comments below. We'd love to chat it up with you guys in the following week on your predictions, your theories, all that. So be sure to keep it locked here with the subscribe button and the bell so that you don't miss. We're covering a ton of shows. You got anything
currently that I'm covering?
Oh no, well, debris, obviously.
There's debris, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, if you hate the show, that's fine. Just watch my review. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so debris is there. Also, the season finale of Snowpiercer is coming on, and we're always taking suggestions. So let us know down in the comments below. Your thoughts are cool. Oh, thanks so much. We appreciate it. So be sure to stay tuned. Yeah, and again, we're always taking show suggestions. So anything you're watching, let us know, and we will check it out. So thank you guys so much for watching, as always, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.